Hours after Russian forces began their wide-ranging attack on Ukraine, 52,000 people watched a live stream on Facebook Gaming that claimed to be filmed from the Ukrainian border. The video was shared on other platforms like Twitter, attracting thousands more viewers, before it was debunked, proven not to be a video of real events, but scenes from a video game. This is just one of many examples of misinformation being circulated about the crisis in Ukraine. If you've been following the war on social platforms, it's likely you've come across some of this yourself. While this type of false content has become a regular feature on social media, it can be really challenging to identify during breaking news situations, as journalists work to verify and report on what's happening. Misinformation or disinformation shared during a crisis can be upsetting, confusing, and potentially even dangerous for those who encounter it. And by amplifying it, you could also be promoting a political narrative. So how can we better navigate social media during breaking news to uncover what's really happening? To answer that question, I spoke with Emmanuelle Saliba, an investigative journalist who previously joined me in 2020 after a massive explosion occurred in Beirut, Lebanon. People posted a wave of misattributed and doctored videos after that blast, including ones that appeared to show a missile striking, which, as she proved, never actually happened.
Here is the original video. You see, it doesn't have that filter, and when you play it out, you can see that there isn't a missile that comes through the sky and hits.
Emmanuelle now has her own YouTube channel, Tracing the Truth, where she helps viewers decipher what she calls the avalanche of information on social media. As Russia's attacks on Ukraine have intensified, Emmanuelle has been providing viewers with information she independently verified and showing them how she does it.
Social media made it possible for journalists to access people that we may have never had access to in the past. Cell phones have sort of changed the way that we gather news. It's put a camera in everyone's hands. And so we've also, as journalists, had to develop new skill sets, the ability to verify that footage, to geolocate it, to understand if it's real or not. As news consumers, they now have access to learn how that footage is being verified. And they also have access to all the same information that we do as journalists. You might have seen this video circulating, but do you know where it was taken? I really believe in this idea of transparent reporting and showing people how you know something's true so that they can start to become smarter every time that they look at this content online.
When you see something on a social media platform, what are your kind of first instincts, your first steps?
It depends on the content that we're looking at. I most often deal with photos and videos because that's what spreads the fastest. I often take a look at the profile of the person who posted it and try to figure out a little bit more about who they are. Do they seem like a witness that's on the ground? Are they a reporter on the ground? Are they an official government source? If I have doubts, that's the first step that I take. And the second step is I look at the footage and I do something called a reverse image search, which means I click on the image or I take a screenshot of the video and I just run it through Google. That's going to show you if the video or the photo has ever been used before. That's a really quick way that most average people can see whether or not it's a video of the current event.
The use of old media from previous conflicts or events is one of the most common types of misinformation experts like Emmanuelle see following breaking news. And she says it's been particularly prevalent on TikTok, where millions have viewed false or old videos claiming to be from the current conflict between Russia and Ukraine.
TikTok is a challenging platform because it sort of doesn't have those cues that we use, for example, on Instagram, which are geolocation indicators. The profiles of people who are using TikTok are not as developed as the ones that we've seen on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. There's less information about the user. So then it's really, for us as journalists, about downloading the video and running it through Google or trying to geolocate it, meaning looking at satellite imagery from the region that it claims to have been taken and trying to figure out whether or not we can find the area where it was shot.
While old videos are often an example of misinformation, they can also be used to spread politically motivated disinformation.
I think every breaking news story lends itself to misinformation. War especially lends itself to disinformation, which means there's an intent behind spreading that false info. We've seen from both camps several examples of old videos recirculating, but also propaganda and narratives being pushed. So it's a complex landscape,
with different platforms presenting their own challenges, as Emmanuelle has experienced throughout her journalism career.
When I started, we were really heavily using Twitter, and it was almost innocent. People were really sharing genuine content from a breaking news story. And then we started seeing hoaxes, people pretending to be victims of a tragedy or accusing the false shooter, for example. And we started seeing manipulated images. Then we went through the elections, and that brought its own wave of trolls and different people trying to push their narratives. And now we have TikTok. We have different foreign agents trying to influence the conversation on new platforms, and we have to adapt and we have to learn and we have to be a bit smarter every time.
So how do you find a good source, a reliable source in a landscape that's changing like this?
There's a group of people online called open source specialists, and they can be journalists or they can be really everyday people who are just really great at finding information and verifying information online, because you don't have to have a journalism background to be able to do this type of work. One group in particular has actually put together a map of all the verified footage from the beginning of Russia's invasion until today. It's a really fantastic resource, and more we're seeing this open source information. We're seeing these digital sleuths work together online to get all of this footage verified and out in the public. And all of that work is transparent, so you don't really need to believe what you're being told. You can actually go and see the steps that have been taken and figure out whether or not that looks good to you.
Another great set of resources to use are these breaking news handbooks from WNYC Studios On the Media program. These guides are tailored to different types of breaking news situations, including storms, protests, and politics, offering advice on common media mistakes, reporting tropes, and misinformation to look out for. They also break down some of the language journalists use in breaking news situations to help you understand whether or not information is confirmed or still being investigated. This way, you have the tools to vet news reports yourself before heading to social media to share them. I'll be back soon with another video about social media and the crisis in Ukraine, so if you have any questions, share them in the comments, and I'll try to address them in the next video. Until then, I'm Hari Srinivasan, and this is Take on Fake. Thanks for watching.